Hello everyone, it's me Dream. Did this ever happen to you? When you play a game with your friends or alone and you think to yourself, I really enjoyed this game. It's really fun. It's nothing amazing, but it's a solid 8 out of 10. But then you get further into the game, some mechanics makes it so unenjoyable where you are like, wow, I don't care if I finish this or not. And I'm probably never picking this up again. No? Well, fuck me then, I guess, because that's what happened to me when I played V Rising. So, what is V Rising? V Rising is a top-down vampire survival, base building, open world, crafting, PvP, PvE game. The story is that once you were a very strong and feared race of vampires that ruled over everything. But then, all of the humans banded together and fucked you up real good. And now you wake up from a deep slumber and try to take back what was never yours. Woo! Now that we got that boring, generic shit out of the way, let's talk about the game. And what a game this is. So, first off, you need to choose how are you gonna play, solo or online. If you're playing online, then you need to choose is it PvE, normal PvP, or is it the hard PvP mode. So, in PvE mode, you can't kill other players or raid their bases. You can only fight NPCs. In a normal PvP mode, you can kill other players and take their loot from their bodies, apart from their armor and weapons. And you can also raid other player bases and take their shit, but you can't take over their base. What that means, you can't make their base your own. In a hard PvP mode, you can do everything that you could do in a normal PvP mode, and everything you couldn't do in a normal PvP mode. What I mean is that when you fight other people, you can take everything from their bodies, including armor and weapons, and you can raid and take over their bases, which you couldn't do in a normal PvP mode. Once you choose that, you pick a server you want to play on. After that, you're greeted with a character creation screen. Once you're done creating your masterpiece, the real game starts. Disclaimer. For the purpose of getting this gameplay faster that you see right now, I changed some of the world settings before creating this world. So you usually start with nothing on you and with completely empty inventory. I also changed material requirements and timers for building and crafting. Normally, the material cost would be much higher and the timers would be much longer. Alright, let's continue. So, your vampire rises from a coffin in a tutorial area. You go through the tutorial area by learning the controls, which are very simple. Killing some undead, crafting some shit, and killing some more. Then you go to the teleporter and choose where on the map you want to start. So, go my little vampire and make a name for yourself. Very important, you are a vampire, so don't stand in the sun or you will fucking die. Moving on. Alright, so how do you progress in this game and what's the final goal? You progress by making the best equipment that you can, then go kill bosses by which you unlock better spells, equipment, and crafting stations, which lets you upgrade your character and castle so you could gather better materials and kill stronger bosses. The game kinda helps you do this by giving you a goal tracker at the top left corner of the screen. I'm saying kinda because it is really vague. So, what about the final goal? Your final goal is to kill every single boss in the game, which there are quite a few of. If you're playing the single player mode, or PvE mode that is. If you're playing one of the PvP modes, then your final goal is to bully every other vampire that is not in your clan off the server. You do that by raiding and killing them. Okay, so what do I like about this game? I think that the game looks really nice. I wouldn't say it looks insanely beautiful, but I do think that how the characters, creatures, enemies and bosses and the world itself looks is really nice. I like the world. I think that all of the areas are different enough from one another that it keeps your interest. I like the different enemy types. I think it makes the game more interesting and not so repetitive. I like the mechanic where you need to drink blood to keep yourself alive, and depending on the blood quality, you get a boost to your stats. There are 5 blood types of blood in V Rising that you can feed on throughout the game. When feeding, you essentially adopt the creature's or humanoid's blood type, and that blood type comes with bonuses based on its quality. The higher quality of the blood will yield bigger bonuses. I also really like the bosses in this game. All of them felt unique and interesting, though there are some similarities between them. Some of them are more interesting and more unique than others.
Think on your feet.
The way you get to the bosses is really cool to me as well. You need to go to the blood altar and pick a boss you want to kill and start tracking them. Then you'll see the smell of their blood come to you and lead you to them. I like the combat in this game. It's nothing insane, it's quite simple actually, but I think there's something for everyone. Using different spell and weapon combos, I think you can create fighting style that you like the most. Though there are some meta ways to fight that are better than others, which I don't really like. So, now that I said what I like about it, let's talk about what I don't like about it and what took my whole interest in this game away. The repetitiveness and the grind in this game is fucking insane. I don't really mind the repetitive and grindy games. I have almost 2000 hours on Warframe, I'll have you know. But the problem with this game is that the repetitiveness and the grind in this game is so boring and unengaging. You just stand next to a tree or a rock and you hold down the left mouse button to hit it until you had enough. Now, I wouldn't really care about it so much if it was not for the majority of the game. I don't want an insane, interesting, and never before seen resource gathering system or a mechanic. What the game has is completely fine. My problem is that you have to do it way too much, more than anything else, and that takes all of the fun out of the game for me. Now, it's not that bad in the early and early mid game, but after that it's just way too much. You're not exploring, you're not doing anything new, you're just doing the same shit over and over. Gathering the resources, going back to the castle, refine them, do it again. And the resource refining cost and refining time is fucking insane as well. Though the refining time and cost can be changed in a single player game or if you're hosting the game. But from what I've seen, most of the servers have the default settings on, which is just way too much for me. The other thing is that in a single player or PvE mode, I think you just lose way too much of the game experience. Some of the items and structures will be completely useless to you and there is no real threat. But the bad thing with PvP mode is that some people just don't have lives. They are on 24/7 and will not let you progress at all, or when you do progress, they'll just come and take all of your shit and you'll have to grind again and rebuild your base, which means more grind. But I don't necessarily blame the game for this. It's the community's problem. Also, some of the resources that you need to gather feel like they're just there to make you spend more time in the game, like fishing or highland lotus gathering. I especially have a problem with fishing. How it works is you come to any size body of water and you look for ripples. When you see ripples, that means you can fish there. So you press on the ripples and you wait for the fish to come. The game gives you a sign when to pull out.
That's what she said.
My problem is that you can only get one fish per spot, and if you get interrupted or you stop it yourself because of the sun or some other shit, the ripples disappear. And it's completely random where they appear. So you might go through the half of the map and more and might not see any ripples in any pond or lake. Can relate. My problem with the highland lotus gathering is that there is very little of them throughout the whole world. But you need quite a few of them, and the places where they are crawling with enemies, which is very annoying and time consuming. Some other very important items also have this problem, but you can gather very little of them, but the need is unproportionately high. So, my final thoughts on this game. This could have been a really fun game to play either alone or with your friends, but it suffers a lot because of its repetitiveness and grind. V-Rising is the game that you remember fondly, but when you or your friend offers to play it, remember all the repetitive and grindy shit you had to do, and then both of you decide just not to. V-Rising is a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Fun the first time, but never again. Thank you for watching.